This is The Opinions, a show that brings you a mix of voices from New York Times Opinion. You've heard the news. Here's what to make of it.
Well, we're standing on the High Line. It's a ton of people going by. And we're carrying 2 folding chairs, a table, and a sign that says, draw together, it just takes 1 minute.
I'm Wendy MacNaughton. I'm an artist, I'm a graphic journalist, and I'm trained as a social worker. I ask people who don't know each other to sit down and look at each other.
A draw together strangers thing where I'm asking strangers, people who've never met each other before, to sit across the table and draw each other for 60 seconds. Except with 2
I've done it in several different cities and different locations. So in San Francisco, downtown in Golden Gate Park, I went to downtown Los Angeles, also in New York City in Washington Square Park and the High Line. My whole premise of my work is that drawing is looking and looking is loving. And I can talk, for like half an hour on a stage or whatever about it. But if I give somebody the opportunity for 1 minute to do it, they actually experience it. And I think that's how people can change. So
I think people if you ask somebody, would you do this? They'd say no. But once you give somebody the opportunity to sit down and connect with somebody like this, it's almost like people are craving it.
So recently when we set it up, kind of on the side of the walkway of the High Line, so there was plenty of space for people to walk by, but it was close enough that folks got curious about what was going on.
Hold on a second. Hi, can I interest any of you in drawings?
And after setting up, I just go into circus barker mode.
Oh, 60 seconds!
That positive attitude might be a little bit contagious. I can get people to come and sit down.
Can I grab you for 60 seconds? I love it! Have a seat.
All different sorts of people end up sitting across from each other. Sometimes people are from different places.
Angelica? What's your name?
Angelica.
And where are you from?
Poland.
Right on. And what's your name?
Danny.
Danny, where are you from?
Glasgow. Aziz, I'm from Kuwait.
Great, okay.
Here's one example where
Jeffrey, nice to meet you. Jeffrey. Hey, my name's Wendy. What's your name?
Juana.
Juana? Nice to meet you. Shake hands.
there was a young girl, she was probably 11 or 12 years old, and she was drawing with a man who, I'm not sure, maybe he was in his 40s or 50s.
Ready? 2 rules. First rule, you're never allowed to lift your pen up off the paper. You are going to draw one continuous line. One continuous line. Rule number 2, you can never, ever look down at the paper you're drawing on. Now look up at each other. You're just going to do it for 60 seconds. All right, choose where you're going to start on your partner's face. Take a deep breath in.
Can't look down.
Nope, I'll see you do it and I'll call you out. Breathe out. And begin drawing. 3, 2, 1, start.
They drew for 60 seconds, and then I asked them how that experience was for them.
3, 2, 1, stop and look down at your masterpieces, please. Ah! Let's see. Oh my gosh, they're so great. Oh, they're fantastic. Can you please lift them up and show each other your gorgeous drawings?
And the man said that he was very moved by it because he's a new father.
Kind of a new father. I have 2-year-old kids at home. And never really had association with younger people before. And now that I'm a father, I respect the childhood and going through and kind of connect with my kids.
So those kinds of connections also across ages can be very meaningful. I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, where there has been an increasing wealth disparity that has just grown and grown over the past, 15 years or so. And it's really made it so that I think people are afraid to look at one another. I think that when we look at people, we see them as humans, and there's a connection and there's a shared responsibility. There's an interdependence that's implied with that. And it's really powerful, and I think a lot of positive things come from it. But in really complicated times when people are feeling scared and when people are feeling helpless, I think to make eye contact with people can feel overwhelming. It can be scary. People might just want to stay with who we know out of a sense of fear. I personally think that's the wrong approach. I think that when we make eye contact with people, we are seeing somebody. We are saying to somebody, I see you, you exist, I exist, and we're existing on this street together. That's an opening for a connection, and that connection is what our society is based, like all societies are based on. It's what communities are, right? So if we're not looking at each other, I understand that it's out of these places that might be self-preservation, but I think that our communities are crumbling as a result of it. And as silly as it might seem, just sitting down and drawing with somebody for 60 seconds can actually lay an incredibly strong foundation of connection that I think can help rebuild trust and communities. I think there's a place for like art and experience in a more public setting in a very accessible way that gives people the opportunity to engage with art and creativity in a way that benefits our hearts and our souls.
We've been here for a couple hours. A bunch of strangers just met each other for the first time, sat down at a table and drew each other for 60 seconds. But what they really did was they slowed down and connected and looked at each other in a way that strangers just generally don't.
I carry the table and the two chairs like on a luggage rolling cart, so I kind of look like I'm setting up like a religious tract station, and I look like I'm like a proselytizer. The ironic thing is I kind of am. It's just that my religion is connection and community, and I would love it if other people would like join in and go out and proselytize along with me and set up these stations all over the world so that people could look at each other.
Thanks, you two. That was really fun. Have a great trip. Bye. Woo.
If you like this show, follow it on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. This show is produced by Derek Arthur, Sophia Alvarez-Boyd, Vishaka Durba, Phoebe Lett, Christina Samuelewski, and Jillian Weinberger. It's edited by Kari Pitkin, Allison Bruzek, and Annie Rose Strasser. Engineering, mixing, and original music by Isaac Jones, Sonia Herrero, Pat McCusker, Carol Saburo, and Afim Shapiro. Additional music by Amin Sahota. The fact-check team is Kate Sinclair, Mary Marge Locker, and Michelle Harris. Audience strategy by Shannon Busta, Christina Samuelewski, and Adrian Rivera. The executive producer of Times Opinion Audio is Annie Rose Strasser.